Hello everybody, welcome to the channel once again. And today I'm going to share this game with you which I liked very much. And so this game was pretty good, and normally I do not record all the games, those that I like a lot and those which are close to my heart. Those videos only I make for the games that I play. I start with my king pawn. My opponent responds in this way, so I ate it. My queen ate it, and then I place my knight here to apply pressure on the queen. He moves it back. Yeah, so he brings his pawn. I move a little bit backward. He comes with his center pawn over here, as you can see. I take out my pawn so that this line gets activated. Responds to that is he brings out his other pawn, and so basically here he's trying to increase his influence at the center. Okay, then I take out my knight. He takes out his knight, and I eat it up, the pawn that was almost hanging over there, and he didn't pay much attention that. Now the pressure is on the queen. He has to move his queen from here, and I strengthen my knight with my bishop. He takes out his pawn, castling, so I castle, but he comes to my bishop, but I leave it there with the idea of applying double attack here. So my bishop over here, he can't take it because I am applying pressure on the queen and also on the rook, so he has to do something in just at the center of this square, if you see at the center, because in that way if I eat his rook over here, he can eat me back with his queens. I put my rook at the center. I always like to bring my rook to the center. The advantage is that you have a very strong line of influence on the center. So he moves his king, and what do I do next? I thought about it, and then I thought enough is enough. It's time for me to capture the rook. He comes closer to my knight, and take the knight. He takes my bishop on b8. This was a surprise. I thought he would take my knight on h8, but he doesn't do so. I wanted the king to come out a bit, not get inside a cage over there. So the king comes out and eats my knight. I give him check. He comes to the middle square over here. Yeah, that was expected. I knew he would go there. Okay. All right. I bring my bishop close to his king. The reason for this exchange of bishop in my mind was to place my rook in a strategically better position, which I thought, yeah, e6 is a strategically better position. So he takes my bishop, my rook comes to e6 and breathing over the shoulder of his king, and his king will be uncomfortable for sure. He comes close to my rook. I bring my queen also in this channel. Now let's see how he responds. He brings his rook back, and here another exchange is possible. So I thought, yeah, we should go for the exchange, because here I was already ahead in the number of pieces, so I was okay for exchanges. Okay, we exchange our rooks. Okay, I take my pawn forward. That is a giant leap from g2 to g4. That I had to bring my pawns forward. They are lying idle at the bottom of the board, so that was my intention, and also it was protected by my queen. He comes forward. He doesn't take my offer. If you can see, I thought I could bring my knight over here, but that would block my queen. So I thought I brought my queen over here. That gives check also, and he moves a bit backward. So as you can see, I am kind of choking him at this point in time, and definitely I am in a better position. I have more freedom of moving around. I keep giving him check. Moves back even further. I bring my pawn over here, and he brings his bishop targeting my queen, and my queen is precious. I can't keep my queen there. I have to move it. And so I move my queen to the upper end of the board with the intention that the king is on target and his knight is pinned, and he comes further up with his pawn, which looks a little dangerous to me because that pawn is pretty close. I bring my rook over here, and now the reason I brought my rook here at the middle is if at by chance if there is any exchange that can happen, what I can do here is I can eat with my rook, I can eat the knight over here, and he would not have any option but to eat my rook with his knight, with his queen, and that would allow me to again eat his queen with my queen. So in this exchange over here, I will be actually winning. So that was my thought over here. So he knew that he could read my mind. Pretty smart fellow. So he brought the king close to the knight so that in the exchange, in the event of an exchange, he wins. That was a smart move. But this gave me an opportunity to eat one of his pawns over here. He brings his pawn forward. So I bring my queen and give him check. How many times I have been giving him check, and each time he moves backward. He again moved backward. This kind of giving me a kind of moral victory, definitely. But what use? At the end of the day, you have to win. Anyway, so I see an opportunity to capture one more pawn over here and also line up my queen with his king straight on, and here I am looking pretty ominous, I would say. He takes my pawn, I take his pawn back. He comes a little bit towards his right. Okay. So my intention was to eat his hanging pawn, not exactly hanging, but there was a pawn, there was a solitary pawn over there. It is like an island over there. I thought I should eat it. He responds with his knight. At this point in time, I could have actually eaten with my queen if I think now, but then I didn't think that. Okay, so I have to move my queen, right? That is what I did. I moved my queen to the left side. I read somewhere that you should move your queen from one part of the board to the other part of the board to be very effective. That is what exactly I have done. So there is one more check, and let's see what he does. He moves again back. How many times I have been giving him check and he has been moving around here and there. But anyway, this gave me the opportunity to eat his pawn. There is a check over there. I thought the best way to handle this check is bring my rook at the middle, so I have my two pawns. I am like standing on the shoulder of my two soldiers over here. Okay, so he brings his queen a little bit to the left. I don't have to worry for that. I wanted this place to be intact. I did not want gaps over here. So the more intact they are, the better it is for me to defend. So in response, and he gives me the offer in a platter, and I oblige. I think he miscalculated over here. I oblige with my rook. He can't eat me because my knight is my queen is standing over there waiting for any offer. So here he miscalculated. Okay, so he comes with his king to another part. I give him check again, as I told you how many times I've been giving him check. He goes back again. Now I move my pawn. That was a big mistake, and I did a very big mistake here. Let me show you. Here, a little while back, my pawn was over here. This was a very faithful soldier who was guarding this knight, and I moved it forward. I did not see that coming, and he comes with his bishop and hammers me down and takes my knight. Such a strong punishment, and I felt so bad for that. Let's get on with the game. Okay, so when I'm so disappointed, I don't know what to do, so I just move my pawn a bit further because I want to clear my space for my queen. My thought was, I just need some breathing space over here. That the pawns are not allowing me to go, so I thought that I'll clear it with my pawn. So I brought it forward. Okay, and he takes it. I am still dejected, and I don't know what I should do. I bring my pawn forward near the king because I want to tighten up this space even further on the board, a bit forward on the board. Okay, so he brings his bishop over here with the intention of capturing my pawn. He brings his bishop. And if you see, his bishop was basically guarding this strong diagonal, which is the longest diagonal. This bishop was guarding, and it was pretty important piece for him. He should have remained over there. What do I bring my king a little bit at the top. So because I want to make this part a little bit compact, as I told you, I want to keep my kings with other pawns and everything. Earlier, he captures my pawn. That was a very bad move. Anyway, what I have done now is a very smart move. This is what I have done. You can see this is a check, and all this while this is a solid check because my rook is over here. So my rook is over here and there is a solid check, and this bishop which was over here, this would not have allowed me to place my queen here. It would not have, and it was like I could smell victory, I could smell a checkmate now, and I thought that his pathway of escape is no more there. And his next move was this, and this made me so happy. I was like literally celebrating inside. My next move was this, and this is a checkmate. And you would not believe that was such a nice game, and the opponent was tough, but I somehow managed to squeeze in a victory. The important lesson in this game was that whenever you are approaching the end part or the middle part of the game, where it is very important now to tighten up your defense, your everything, don't go after small pawn pieces. At that time you have to have a bigger, you have to focus on the bigger and important things. So here my opponent did that mistake. He was focusing on a small pawn and he had to lose the game because of that. Okay, so with that I end the video, and I hope you liked it. Thank you. Have a very nice day. Bye.